This is editing, Stacy. Apparently, the news came out that Gerrit Cole is going to rehab his elbow and choose not to have surgery. So he will probably be back for the first half of the season, but the Yankees will be without him for a little bit. But surgery is not going to be happening. So hopefully that means he can recover from whatever this is in that time and he won't need surgery later. So good. But of course, this all happened after I finished editing the show. So keep that in mind as you listen and watch.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Welcome to the show. It is Fanmail Friday. You guys asked a lot of questions, and I will be answering a lot of questions. Some of you had similar questions that I condensed into one, and it's something I don't really want to talk about, but I'm going to. That'll be in segment 2, so there's a tease for you. But yeah, let's just get into it. Why not? Okay, so in case you're new to the show, Fanmail Friday is something I do here every week, and you can leave your question underneath the YouTube videos, the pinned comment Monday through Thursday. I look through them and pick out which questions I'm going to answer. And then there's also the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club that you can join. There's a 14-day free trial, a link in the description below on YouTube. And if you are part of the Insiders Club, you get top priority. And speaking of that, let's start with one of our insiders, one of our tried and true insiders, one of our originals, Betty. Happy Friday. Friday question. Since Wells and Trevino have emerged as the best choices for catching, should they still keep Rortvedt or include him with a position player or two in a trade for pitching depth? P.S. Your injury rant was cathartic for all of us. I appreciate that. In case you missed that, I was ranting about Gerrit Cole and Aaron Judge and the Yankees keeping injury news from us, which most Yankee fans have been ranting about. I think this question is interesting because I don't know how the trade stuff is going to work for the Yankees. You know, they missed out on Dylan Cease. The White Sox got a really nice haul for Dylan Cease. I went through that haul on Thursday's show, but included in that haul was Drew Thorpe, who was a Yankees prospect that went over there in the Juan Soto trade. And I think that, yeah, Rortvedt is expendable. There are also other catchers in the minors if they did need an emergency third catcher, where they wouldn't need to carry him on the roster. And then in case they needed to bring someone up, they could. But I don't know if they should keep him because his bread and butter last year was really just getting along with Gerrit Cole and catching him. And if the Yankees are without Gerrit Cole for an extended amount of time, is there really a use for Ben Rortvedt? He doesn't really hit well. So that's kind of interesting to think about. Also, as I'm recording this, it's 8:37 p.m. Thursday, March 14th, and I have not seen anything about Cole. So I don't know what's going on. I will check Twitter probably during the third segment just to make sure that something hasn't happened, because you never know. You guys have watched this show and seen reactions to news happening while we're recording. So I'll keep an eye out for that. But thank you for the question, Betty. I hope I answered it well. I answered it as best as I could. Question number 2, another insider, Eric S. Do you think there is a Yankee tax on trades? Do teams ask for more from the Yankees than other teams? It sure as heck feels like it, doesn't it? It always feels like the Yankees have to give away their number 1 prospect, but other teams can get away with giving away their number 6 prospect. I don't know. It feels like there's a Yankees tax, and it's just kind of funny that it's still that way, considering how long it's been since the Yankees have won anything. And, you know, not that the Yankees have been bad the last 15 years, but they're not the Yankees that people expect them to be, you know? But it does feel like it. I could be paranoid, but it feels like there is some sort of Yankee tax when it comes to other teams making trades with them. And speaking of trades, and thank you for the question, Eric. From Ruben, do you think a trade for Jesus Luzardo is still possible? No, simply because the Marlins are having their own injury problems with their rotation, and I don't think they're going to part with him. They have two big injuries to their rotation, so it seems like that is not going to happen. No, I don't think so. Would it be nice? Sure, but no, I don't think that's happening. So the Yankees aren't the only ones dealing with injuries to their rotation, although the Yankees' injury to their rotation is a lot more dire than other teams' injury to their rotation or injuries in the case of the Marlins. Thank you for the question, Ruben. Another insider, I believe this is our last insider question because a few of you had similar questions to other people on YouTube. And I think there were 2 insiders who had the same sort of question and 3 or 4 people on YouTube who had a similar question. So I'm answering one in segment 2. We'll get to that in a bit. This one is from Aaron L. What do you make of the news that the Yankees are checking in on Lorenzen instead of signing Snell or Monty? Personally, I'd rather sign Lorenzen to fill a back-end rotation spot than be tied down to either Snell or Monty. The problem with Lorenzen is that he wants a 2-year deal. He's holding out for a 2-year deal. But yeah, he wouldn't be a bad, he would not be a Gerrit Cole replacement. He would be the guy to slot in at the back, probably behind Clark Schmidt, and push the other guys up. So effectively your ace would be Carlos Rodon, which, in 2021 or 2022 wouldn't be a bad thing, but coming out of 2023, not a great thing. But, Lorenzen had that no-hitter against the Nationals last season, and then his season kind of fell apart after that. He never really threw that much. He was a reliever before he was a starter. He threw 124 pitches in that no-hitter. But yeah, people will look at his ERA and think, no, I don't want anything, I don't want anything to do with him because, it would most likely be hovering around 4. Michael Lorenzen isn't going to come over to the Yankees and throw to a 2.45 ERA, But again, you wouldn't be asking him to do much, but I think the hang up would be the 2-year part because he's, it's March 14th. He still hasn't signed anywhere. He's really holding out for that 2-year deal. And I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. Why did I say anywhere twice? I don't know. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and I'm tired. But according to MLB Trade Rumors, Lorenzen has received interest from the Mets, Angels, Twins, Padres, and Orioles. But now that the Padres have Dylan Cease, I don't think they need Lorenzen. The Angels were also tied to Blake Snell as a possibility. But I mean, those were like all rumors going around. So I'm not sure how that is going to work out. But it wouldn't be a bad idea. It just wouldn't. And again, he's not replacing Cole. He's moving to the back of the rotation and pushing everyone else forward. So, yeah. But right now, don't know what's going on with Cole. Actually, while I'm here with you, let's double check because you never know. He's in LA. It's 5:42 there, but I would hope that they wouldn't wait until later tonight to do the news about him, or maybe they're waiting till Friday to scare us all. But how are we all doing today on this Friday? Technically, because if you're watching this, it's Friday. Did you have a good week? Did you try to have a good week, even with all of the bad news? All right, there's nothing yet. Okay. I see John Heyman wrote something. From Snell to Bauer, most expensive to least, 7 possible options for the Yankees' thin rotation. And speaking of that, coming up in segment 2, I answer a question I didn't really want to answer, but 6 of you asked it. so I kind of have to. But before we get to that, don't forget to reply to the pinned comment on our videos from Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fanmail Friday next week, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get texts from me. You can text me questions, and there's a 14-day free trial. So try it out. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do anything. But I think you will like it. Coming up next, answering more of your questions. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right. No cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. The offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. And Locked On Yankees is also sponsored by FanDuel. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tournament. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a 1 seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines. You can even pick who's going to win it all. You can bet on the men's tournament and the women's tournament. Right now on the men's side, Connecticut is leading the pack to win it all, with Houston, Purdue, Arizona, and Tennessee rounding out the top 5. And in the women's tournament, South Carolina, LSU, Iowa, Stanford, and UCLA round out their top 5. Just visit fanduel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees, where it's your team every day. After you're done here, make sure to watch Locked On Sports Today. It's the Locked On Network's 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. You can put it on and watch all the other Locked On podcasts, football, hockey, basketball, everything is there. That's Locked On Sports Today, streaming 24/7 on YouTube. Okay, I didn't really want to I didn't really want to answer a question about this guy, but 6 of you asked questions about this, so I picked the longest one. This is from Teacher Sama, who has asked plenty of questions on YouTube. Hello, Teacher Sama. My dear Stace, this is why I asked last week whether it be a good option to sign an extra arm, and man, I just hope Cole's okay and he just needs some rest. I know lots of people hate him, but wouldn't it be an ideal option to get Trevor Bauer? I mean, the guy is healthy. He was one of the top 10 pitchers in Japan last season. He would sign for the league minimum, and people are just creating things about him. Some others will say he's a distraction and not a good teammate, but so is Alex Rodriguez. Thank you for the question. Again, like 6 of you asked about Trevor Bauer, so I figured I'd answer at least one question. No, it's not a good option. It's not. If someone wanted Trevor Bauer on their team, he'd be signed already. No one wants him. No one wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole. It's of his own doing. And it's not even just the legal stuff. It's just the way he's acted as a person. It's just, no one wants him on the team. And I have to stick up for Alex Rodriguez. Yes, he was a distraction. Yes, there was a lot of nonsense that he put his teammates through. But there are also stories from those same teammates about how good a teammate he was. Like, aside from the sideshow distractions, Alex Rodriguez was a good teammate. You don't really hear that about Trevor Bauer. Just saying. But no, it wouldn't be a good option to have Trevor Bauer on the team. Not at all. That's just my personal opinion. If people are upset about that, I don't know what to tell you. But, he made his bed. He needs to lie in it. I know he's doing an apology tour and trying to make things right, but all 30 teams are staying away from him for a reason. That's all I'll say. Thank you for the question, Teacher Sama. The next one is Donald Exley, 1852. Of the prospects who are likely to be closest, Jones, Hampton, Rice, Beeter, and Warren, who do you think will have a biggest impact on the season? I am thinking Beeter and Warren. I think Jones, Hampton, and Rice are too far away, but I feel like Beeter and Warren, if things keep happening to the pitching staff, they're going to be a lot closer than they probably should be. But I think Beeter and Warren will be the two that could have the biggest impact on the season. It would be later in the season, but I feel like it would be those two pitchers. Thank you for the question, Donald. Or is it Donald Dexley? Is it Donald Exley or Donald Dexley? Let me know. Next question from YouTube, Ronnie Garns, 7732. Hey, Stacy, my question is a bit off topic, but why not ask it? I agree. Why not? I know we tend to downplay results and focus more on the process at this point. Thus, I rarely worry about guys who aren't hitting this early, especially veterans. However, do you ever worry about guys getting too hot too soon? For example, Soto has a ridiculous average in OPS right now. I sometimes worry about the law of averages working backwards and biting him in the backside once the season starts. Remember Cano in 2012 when he was raking down the stretch after the Yankees clinched a playoff spot only to fizzle and go 1 for 37 in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on this? Thanks and love the show. Sometimes I get worried when I see guys doing too well in spring training because you can't really gauge what they're doing in spring training. Because I think there was a year when Kyle Higashioka went nuts in spring training, and then, he was no offense to Kyle Higashioka. I mean, he occasionally hit home runs and stuff, but he was like really raking, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's going to be the year he breaks out," and then he didn't. The opposite thing also happens too, where a guy is really hot to end the season and then he goes into the playoffs. But then again, you're facing tougher competition in the playoffs, and it's not the same as facing like sometimes at the end of the year, you're not facing great teams and you tend to do better against them. And then you go into the playoffs and you're facing better pitching staffs. And, there were a lot of guys that happened to, but, I feel like baseball is just that way. You have hot weeks, you have cold weeks, you have hot months, cold months. No one really goes wire to wire doing really well. It's rare, especially with a hitter. They all go through hot and cold streaks. But I think the key for Soto is just to start off the season. He doesn't have to be the way he's hitting in spring training, but it would be nice for him to start the season off better in 24 because he didn't start the season off that well in 23 with the Padres. So it'd be good to see him get off to a good start. But there is something to that. Checking Twitter again and making sure that nothing has happened, but I don't think they're gonna wait till 9:00 Eastern time to tell us what's going on with Gerrit Cole. Then again, you never know, but I'm just double checking to see what's happening. And so far, I don't see anything other than conjecture and people talking about it. This is an interesting tweet from Tim Kirkshin of ESPN. It's nearly certain that Gerrit Cole and Blake Snell won't start opening day. The last time the reigning Cy Young winners did not start opening day was 2005, Clemens Santana. Before that was Valenzuela and Raleigh Fingers, a reliever. That's right, Raleigh Fingers won that in 81. Wow. Interesting, huh? Yeah. Anyway, no news about Cole. So coming up in segment 3, more questions for Fanmail Friday. You guys were great this week. Thank you for all the questions. I really appreciate it. I had to kind of narrow some of them. I had to narrow it down because I couldn't fit them all in. But thank you so much for participating in this and keeping this going. I really appreciate it. So yeah, coming up in segment 3, there's an interesting question about a former Yankee. And I wonder if you will agree with my answer to that question coming up next. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewer experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournaments, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels let you dive into all the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports. March Madness, NBA, MLB, and lots more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit Amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Welcome back to the final segment of the final day of the week for Locked On Yankees. If you're not a regular, we are Monday through Friday. That's why we're your team every day. And we do Fanmail Friday every week. Okay. Sijanuzzi? I can't remember how Steve used to say your name, but if we're both pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. The possible Cole injury notwithstanding, based on spring training performances so far, how would you rank the New York Yankees 2024 starters amongst themselves? I guess a 1 through 5 or 6 ranking and a letter grade would be the most analytical. Of course, this is an interim report since there is some spring training yet to go. And of course, the situation with Cole greatly complicates everything. The other thing that complicates things is I haven't gotten to see everyone. I don't think I've seen Stroman pitch more than in highlights because I feel like none of his starts are on Yes, or if they're on the Yes app, I don't have the Yes app. And it feels like all of his starts are on channels that I don't get because they're other teams' channels. So I feel like I can't really grade these guys yet. I've seen Rodon twice. I've seen Nestor. I've seen Clark Schmidt. But yeah, I haven't really seen Stroman. I heard he had a rough time on Thursday. A friend of mine was actually at that game. She's down at spring training. So I don't feel like I can really rank them right now. Yeah, I really don't think I can. After that really messy first inning the other day from Clark Schmidt, he looked pretty good the rest of the time. And Rodon looked a lot better this week than he looked last week. Nestor also, I think, recovered from a really bad start. So, with these guys, I really just feel like as long as they're not getting hurt, that's my biggest concern with these guys right now. Although our concerns are going to be more because opening day is exactly 2 weeks from when I'm recording this. And some of these guys need to step things up, especially if Cole's going to be gone for a while. So thank you for the question. The next one is from Martin Ober 249. Hey, Stacy, or hi, Stacy. I can't read. Bernie Williams was a terrific Yankee and was a clutch postseason performer. He was a big reason for the Yankees' dynasty teams of the late 90s. Do you think he will ever be inducted into the Hall of Fame? If Harold Baines was inducted into the Hall of Fame by the veterans, then Bernie Williams certainly should be, if they look at everything he's done. That's all I'm going to say about that. I feel like Bernie always gets the short end of the stick because they always mention the core four, which I understand why, because they came up together, but Bernie was a big part of those teams, and I feel like he's always excluded from things, and it drives me crazy. But I feel like he would probably have a good chance of getting in with the Veterans Committee, right? They still do that, but they have it split into certain things, right? So I guess he would be modern, and then, yeah, I think he would be able to get in there that way. I hope so, or else I'm going to start a stink on that one because he deserves it. Bernie Williams was great. And that's not just my Yankee bias. I mean, so many of those 90s highlights were Bernie Williams. My brother and father went to every home playoff game in 1996. I did not because I was in college, so I missed the fun. And my brother, I believe, went to the bathroom during the walk-off against, was that Texas? Or no, was that 96 or 98? Now I'm conflating years. There was a game Bernie Williams walked off in the playoffs, and my brother had gone to the bathroom, and he's walking back to the seat, and Bernie hit the home run to win the game. And it's nearly 30 years later, and that still makes me laugh, because isn't that the way that happens? But I think he should make it into the Hall of Fame. Let me know below if you agree with my assessment of Bernie Williams. And our final question of the day, Casey Cotro, 7050. Who do you think will have a comeback season in 2024? Conversely, who do you think will fall off in 2024, not counting Peraza? Thank you for the question, Casey. Well, I'm hoping Stanton has a comeback season in 2024. And falling off in 2024, well, I mean, technically Cole, because he's going to be injured, that's falling off from winning the Cy Young, right? Because some of these guys just did not do well last season. And we need a lot of them to have comeback seasons. You know, you need Rodon to have a comeback season. You need Nestor. You need Stanton. You need Rizzo from May on to have a comeback season. You need DJ. I'm not going to say Volpe because it was his first season. He just needs to build on his first season and get better. But I'm feeling Stanton. I don't think he's going to get to the point where he's hitting 59 home runs, but I think he's going to do better than people think he's going to do in 2024. Is he going to stay healthy? That also has to do with him making a comeback. I'm hoping he does. But I can't really think of anyone who's going to fall off, honestly. You know, again, feels like Cole, but only for injury issues, you know, which is a really big bummer because I really wanted to see what Gerrit Cole would do, you know, one season removed from a brilliant Cy Young campaign. And, you know, having this issue with his elbow is just a big bummer. Why do I keep ending every episode on a bum note? Ugh. Anyway, one more time, don't forget to join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description below and a 14-day free trial. You get texts from me, and you can text me questions for Fanmail Friday, and you get top priority when you do that. You can also ask the questions and leave them under the pinned comments Monday through Thursday on our videos. And yeah, it's been a week for Yankee fans, hasn't it? Yeah, and if anything major happens with Gerrit Cole, I will record something. I will be ready on Friday to record something if something happens. Also, let me know while we're searching for a co-host, while I'm doing this myself, let me know if you want me to do live streams. I obviously can't show the games during the live streams, but maybe we can watch games together and discuss them. Maybe we can do that for Mexico City. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to do that. Insiders Club members, let me know via text if you'd be willing to come on for a live stream on YouTube. I think it could be fun. So let me know if you want to do that. So that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Thank you so much for watching this week, and I will see you on Monday.